Hello, my name is Erin Warshevsky, and I, right now, am portraying the 1960s working women who majorly were only in office and clerical work, so I'm a secretary. The Women's Museum of California is only one of 3 standalone museums of women's history in the entire nation of the United States. Founded in 1983 by a woman named Mary Michelle. It was originally a women's history reclamation project that started in her home. She dedicated her life to collecting memorabilia, artifacts, historic documents, posters, and books, and it eventually overflowed her home. And through the encouragement of her friends and family, she decided to open up her collections to the public. The museum is a nonprofit organization that does more than showcase these amazing collections. The museum is involved in community outreach and historically offering lectures, professional and social events, holding workshops, and there's even a library archiving collections, a women's author series. They showcase women's authors and women's film festivals, and book clubs, and so many other events that involve and benefit the community. So now I'm going to share with you guys a little about my personal experience here at the museum. My first event was actually Friday Night Liberty, which is an event that the museum and the entire Liberty Station puts on, and it's free admission for the first Friday of every month. And my job was to just clock in how many people entered and exited the museum, and just had them sign in, because the more people that we have sign in, the more donations and money that we can get. My second event was also the Women's Hall of Fame, and that was a really, really monumental event because it showcased so many women within our own community, and my job was to usher the guests from the sign-in table to their specific assigned table, and I got to interact and talk to a lot of people that attended the event, which was really awesome. The last event that I took part in was actually transitioning rotating exhibits. So from the Me Too exhibit that showcased Latina art into showcasing wedding dresses through the eras. And that was a really cool experience, just getting to see the logistics of how the exhibits go up and down, and also getting to learn about both topics. It was amazing taking part as a student intern this semester for the Women's Museum of California. I highly recommend everybody to do it. So now on to the next.
Hello, my name is Emma, and I'm standing in front of a mural located at Liberty Station, where the Women's Museum is housed. This is a mural that is dedicated to the U.S. Navy, and I'm currently dressed as an 80s woman in the military would be. This is an Air Force uniform, and let's talk about the museum. So, the museum has both permanent and temporary exhibits. I'm here to talk about the permanent ones. There are 3 permanent exhibits at the museum. There's the Women's Suffrage exhibit, there's the Trailblazers of California exhibit, and then finally, the Women's Hall of Fame induction list exhibit. The suffrage exhibit focuses on how when the 19th Amendment was passed, not all women received the right to vote. Only really white women did. It touches on how Asian Americans, how Mexican Americans, how Native Americans, African American women were not granted the right to vote as white women were, and I think that's very important. The second permanent exhibit is one on Trailblazers of California. They are women who've made a difference in California history, such as Dolores Huerta, who united the farm workers along with Cesar Chavez and allowed them to fight for their rights. The third permanent exhibit is the Women's Hall of Fame induction. It lists the women who were honored with the induction ceremony from 2002 to 2017. My personal experience here at the museum, I've volunteered several times. The first time was at Friday Night Liberty, where I helped set up tables, I helped answer questions of the patrons, and I helped put everything away. My second experience volunteering was for the store. So I attended orientation for the store and proceeded to stay there for as long as it was open and assist with the customers and assist with selling tickets and informing people who came in about what the exhibits were about. And the next volunteership the next time I volunteered was at the Women's Hall of Fame induction. I was there for a few hours, but I helped set up and I helped establish banners, and I helped put together exhibits that we were showcasing at the Women's Hall of Fame induction. And lastly, and the most time I've spent volunteering for the museum, is I've been working on their online website, which showcases timelines of important women in history. I'm working on women in activism. So I've gone back through the years and I've looked at women who are important in activism, such as Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all the way to Ida B. Wells and more. And although it's not done yet, I hope to finish soon, and that will be up on the museum site, so look out for that. Thank you for listening. This has been the museum.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabriela Kosic and I am currently wearing a flapper dress with a hat. I will be telling you guys about the rotating exhibit at the Women's Museum of California, and I'll be telling you a little bit about it. The museum decided to put up this exhibit to honor one of their most memorable volunteers' ideas, Bob Alden, which was to honor his mother-in-law, who was involved in various women's clubs as well as in different social movements. With this, the museum created the exhibit In the Company of Women. In the exhibit, there were 14 different panels that represented women during the progressive era in the 19th century and in the beginning of the 20th century. These clubs were formed by middle-class women and African Americans, focusing, as I said, in social reform issues such as labor, suffrage, education, health, and many more. As these clubs, whether they gathered to connect and share experiences or come together as a community to create social change, was a significant and very much needed movement that impacted the lives of many women at that time. To get more in depth about the panels displayed, I will list them now. The first panel provided an introduction about the women's clubs, where and how they were change makers. The second panel and third panel were combined, and they were about the history of women's clubs and how they went from parlor to politics and the upbringing of the General Federation of Women's Clubs. The fourth and fifth panel talked about African American women's clubs and focused on uplifting as we climb, mentioning Mary McLeod Bethune as well. The sixth panel focused on the progressivism and reform, and the seventh and eighth panel talked about the reform and the spirit of reform and action. Panels 9 and 10 talked about Ellen Scripps and the La Jolla Women's Club. Can you get the picture? The Scripps Hospital and the Women's Club from Scripps was founded by Ellen, as well as mentioned before, La Jolla. She was one of the people that founded the children's pool that you all enjoy today. Panels 11 and 12, which talk about notable women such as Lydia Horton, Mary McLeod, Mrs. Huntington, and Aurora Castillo, were very rewarding to read about. Last but not least are panels 13 and 14 that talk about the legacy and challenges women's clubs faced, which include benevolence, patriotism, community improvement, arts and politics, as well as many more. During my internship at the Women's Museum, I did various different volunteer projects. Starting with Liberty Nights, I attended 3 of them and was able to initially help with setup, which is an important part of the event, as well as do the serving of the snacks and also mingle with many of the visitors, which I truly enjoyed because most of them and knew about the exhibit, and they asked me to share which one was my favorite, which was Mrs. Scripps. Then I also participated in the Women's Hall of Fame. I got to dress up, as you guys all got to see Emma's outfit, the military woman, and I enjoyed it very much because I got to represent women from that era and got many compliments for wearing the costume. I also helped gather funds for the event and many other things related to the museum by selling raffle tickets during the Women's Hall of Fame, as well as help women that were inducted reach the podium and be recognized for their outstanding achievements and empowerment towards women. Then I was also part of the store, and where I also went through orientation, and I got to work with Bob and hear all of his amazing stories during my time at the store, and also share with the people that came in about the importance of the museum, the funding that they can provide by signing up for the museum, and sold many items. I also attended a private event, which I truly enjoyed because of my child and family development major, which talked about children's books. The author was amazing, and she shared many books that I will be using because they're so multicultural, and they share many stories that children can relate to. Last but not least was author series, which I truly enjoyed as well because it was a woman from India that got to talk about her experience as an Indian woman and coming to the United States back in the 70s. And she shared her experience in the book as a different character. I will not spoil it for you guys so you guys can look it up. The book is also available at the store. I believe it's called Moon. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the women's clubs.
Hi, my name is Kylie Moore. Today I am dressed as women in the late 1800s before the 1920s. I depict the suffragist movement, so those are women who are fighting for our vote. As you can see behind me in the museum, Votes for Women, so we're still standing by and defending that today. So today I will be talking to you guys about some of the events that took place in the Women's Museum that I was lucky enough to partake in, and another event that happened outside the Women's Hall of Fame. So the first event I took part in was Bob's Movie Night, and it was a film called Kedi. It was a film shot in Istanbul, and it was a documentary about cats. A common theme that happened when we were setting up events is you bring out chairs, you a lot of times lay out food, you accommodate the guests, and there's a whole event set up and tear down, and it's a lot of fun. Okay. The second event that took place that I was able to contribute and volunteer at was the Postpartum Health Alliance. This is an organization dedicated to raising awareness for prenatal mood and anxiety symptoms and disorders, supporting treatment referrals to women and their family. Amongst the guests at this event were medical practitioners, counselors, lactation consultants, and some doulas as well. I didn't know what a doula was until I got to mingle with some of the guests here. But a doula is someone who comes into the family's home and they assist with taking care of the pregnant mother, and they sometimes support the family afterwards as well. So it's a really interesting event to take part in. So for the third event that I volunteered at was part of a Rotarian reception, which is the San Diego Rotary Club. The Rotary clubs are something that people get together to form friendships, exchange ideas. You can make professional connections at these. They've got multiple meetings, including a club at the SDSU campus. And there's very interesting people from all different cultures and backgrounds that come here to mingle. Amongst those, we got to meet the chair and the president of the Rotary Club, which was really cool, and she had a lot of great things to share. The fourth event was an author signing for a book club. This author was named Edith Hope Fine. She shares diversity in children's books. She's really promoting acceptance amongst our youth to grow in a world with less hatred. Edith promotes diversity in children's books, including gender, race, religion, culture, and living spaces to promote acceptance amongst the youth. So today I'm dressed as a woman from the suffragist movement. I also was lucky enough to wear this costume during the Women's Hall of Fame while I greeted people on stage with a group of other women who represented women throughout the eras and throughout history, just giving recognition to women overall, which is the whole point of this class. So the last event that I was able to participate in was an event held here for the Women's Club Mixer. This was various clubs located throughout San Diego promoting women's well-being, women's empowerment, and their place in the community. Amongst the participants, we had a club named Elevate, the Pacific Beach Women's Club, which was established in the 1800s and now takes place in one of the oldest buildings in San Diego, as well as the Ocean Beach Women's Club, ZLAC, which was an acronym named after all of the women who started the club, as well as the Women's Rowing Club that was started in 1892, which promotes girls in all sports, as well as mental and physical wellness. It was truly a treat to attend this event as well as all of the others in recognition of all the strong females, female empowerment, and a sense of belonging in history. I'm so happy I was able to be a part of it and join the volunteership at the Women's Museum of California.
Hey, my name is Gabriela Quevedo, and I'm going to be introducing to you one of the most important and probably most impactful events that we had an opportunity to participate in as SDSU volunteers at the Women's Museum, and that is the Women's Hall of Fame induction ceremony and reception, which happened not too long ago. And this is actually a beautiful event which honors women who have positively impacted San Diego County and all of its citizens. And the women who were honored in this were recognized for their achievements, and they were also inducted in the Women's Hall of Fame so that they are recognized for those achievements for the rest of San Diego history. And these women were chosen or nominated by their own communities in San Diego County, and they were chosen for their values, their efforts, and their trailblazing, their activism, their cultural competency, and their efforts for historic preservation. As a San Diego State volunteer, I had the opportunity not only to set up the tables and the tablecloths for this beautiful event, I also was a crucial part in just wearing the Rosie the Riveter costume, which is representing the role of empowerment of women during World War II, of moving towards more roles that were usually only exclusive for men in industry work and other work that was only for men and for more sturdy people. And it's just from the We Can Do It poster. It was a really cute job that I also had the opportunity to just make it easy for the women who were being honored, such as Nelly Andrade, Fahari Jeffers, and Didi Alpert, who are beautiful and amazing activists of San Diego County who have helped with issues such as workers' compensation and just Latino and Latina community empowerment all throughout San Diego County. And just being in the breath of these women was an amazing experience, and being able to ease their job just getting up to the stage for them to be inducted to the Women's Hall of Fame was an incredible job that rewarded me as well as all the other volunteers with me, and it empowered us for our roles as women within the SDSU and beyond. Some of the other events that I was able to participate in were more administrative work, maybe with the museum, which was just like keeping up the store or like keeping the exhibits clean, and more work like that, but then I also got to be a part of this one event where women's clubs were united here at the Women's Museum, and I was able to partake in a beautiful conversation that was about activism within San Diego and the role of youth of activism within San Diego, and how us helping them with more social media consciousness would be able to help our role as youth in San Diego activism. And just the whole experience being a volunteer at the Women's Museum has been incredibly rewarding, incredibly empowering, and something that I would recommend any other student as well as any other just regular youth of San Diego to partake in. And thank you for your time, and I hope that you learn more about the Women's Museum and will hopefully partake in it.